Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Welcome back.
It's time again.
To Freaky Fauna Friday.
We're back. You're back. We're all back.
I am the great and peaceful mystery.
And I'm just Jay.
I'm just Jay. I was just singing the Ken song. I've never seen the Barbie movie, but that song is literally everywhere.
I have no idea.
It's I'm just Ken. Anywhere else I'd be a 10.
Never heard it.
Basically, he's complaining because they're all Ken dolls.
Uh-huh.
So they're all like quote unquote perfect.
Okay.
So he doesn't stand out in any way. So he's saying if I went anywhere else in the world, I'd be a 10, but here I'm nothing.
It's like like that episode of SpongeBob when Squidward goes to that little village. It's all other Squidwards and everything's the same.
Canned bread.
Yep.
Which is real. Did you know that?
Canned bread? Yeah. Yeah.
Just today's Freaky Fauna. This is weird because it's actually a big group of animals that people kind of...
Ungulates?
No.
Oh.
No, but people lump them in as one thing. This group of animals are known for having so many extraordinary abilities.
Cyanophores.
You're so close.
Alligate worms.
No. But individual species each have crazy abilities.
Slime molds.
Yeah, you're right there. Any more guesses?
Just keep going, then I'll keep guessing.
We're going to talk about moss piglets.
Oh, what? What?
Moss piglets.
What's this?
They're also known as water bears.
Oh.
Or tardigrades.
Tardigrades. Okay, I was getting closer.
There's a little tardigrade song everybody should look up. I don't remember who it's by, but we used to play it at work all the time.
Tardigrades?
Mm-hmm.
Songs?
It's like a song about being the king of the moss.
Moss piglets.
Yeah, these are amazing. Tardigrades may be, in fact, the toughest group of animals on the planet. They've evolved to live almost everywhere and anywhere, surviving almost anything and everything. Some tardigrades can even shrug off conditions that would obliterate most living beings, including extremes far beyond anything found on Earth. They're known as extremophiles, which is just an organism that can survive in the extremes, whether it's extreme cold, extreme hot, extreme pressure, extreme lack of pressure.
Anything extreme.
Yeah. Like I already said, these are tiny, rotund, strangely endearing creatures. Their first names were moss piglets because they were discovered when we first started really working with microscopes. But then they started calling them water bears because they do have a very much, similar. Like I see the piglet, I can see the bear angle.
Right, yeah.
But these guys are essentially mouths with feet.
Yeah, they look like little ungulates.
But they have 8 legs.
Oh, it's 8 legs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
2 to 3 claws per foot.
Wow.
And we'll talk about more about that. Since we're surrounded by these little juggernauts, they also seem unlikely to go anywhere anytime soon. We might as well know a little bit better about these creatures. Hopefully shed some light on this hidden creature around us. For there are a few interesting facts about the tardigrade. Okay, so these guys are microscopic is my first fact for you.
Okay.
But just barely.
Just barely microscopic?
I mean, they're so close to the edge of what the human eye can see that some people claim they can see them, some people claim they can't. So tardigrades near the very edge of human visibility. A typical tardigrade is about 0.5 mm's long, or about 0.02 inches long.
Okay. And by the way, sorry, your little shrimp in your fish tank just went swimming all the way across the tank.
No, somebody probably got in his hidey hole.
Yeah.
Some of the larger and even the largest tardigrades are often less than 2 millimeters or 0.07 inches in length.
Okay.
So we're talking about less than a tenth of a point, less than a tenth of an inch.
Than an inch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much less. Our biggest ones are like 7% of an inch.
Okay, so that's even okay.
So less than a tenth of an inch.
Well, even
a tenth of an inch would be 10%.
Right, but it's weird to say that because like 1/16th.
Well, I'm not using a tape measure or nothing like that.
But that's what I'm imagining in my head.
So they're really, really tiny, but they're just barely there. But yeah.
Do you think we have tardigrades inside our bodies?
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
You have them on your face right now, eating you. Some larger tardigrades can be visible with the naked eye, but since they're almost see-through, we're unlikely to get a good view without at least a low-powered microscope.
Okay.
And some people claim they see them and stuff like that. I don't know. With my eyes are bad anyway, so it's
Yeah, it doesn't help. Mine too.
They are their own phylum of life.
Ah.
So tardigrades comprise their entire phylum of life, which is one taxonomy rank below kingdom. So that's crazy.
I didn't know this.
They have their own phylum.
Right. Kingdom, phylum, genus, species, right?
Opposite. Oh, no. Family. You left out family.
Oh, family.
I'm like, you're missing something.
Family, genus, species, yeah. Kingdom, phylum, family, genus, species.
So these guys have their own phylum. So that's like mammals and reptiles and stuff. Tardigrades are their own thing.
Okay.
Other phyla in the animal kingdom include, like I said, arthropods, which include all insects, or arachnids and crustaceans, and vertebrates, which is all animals with a backbone.
Right.
So they're that big of a swath
Yeah.
away from everything else that's an animal. But they are an animal. Where was I? Sorry. Tardigrades have been around for at least 500 million years or so, possibly sharing a common ancestor with arthropods. There's over 1,000 species known today, including marine, freshwater, terrestrial, and atmospheric tardigrades.
Oh, no. Do they have like little parachutes?
They just kind of float. When you're that small, you just kind of be like, wherever the wind shall take me.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
I don't know. I could see a little tardigrade singing that with a a little parachute pack.
At some point in their early lineage, tardigrades lost several genes involving with the production of heads and tails from other animals during development. They also lost a large intermediate range of their body development, which is the axis lacking a segment like insects, composing of entire thorax or abdomen. So essentially, their entire bodies is their head and legs.
Just a big blob with a head and legs.
Yes. But yeah, so they think as far as evolution's concerned that these guys broke off from arthropods or arthropods broke off from them so extremely early. And these guys actually lost genes.
Like blue jeans?
Yes. Little moss piglets in pants.
Yeah, they lost them.
My jeans.
Roger got done singing its song.
Well, the wind shall take my jeans.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the next little cool fact about these guys is they can survive, at least as far as we know, decades without food or water, and sometimes even atmosphere.
Oh wow! Oh, I did know that. Actually.
You did, yeah. We've talked about it on the main show a lot. But as far as we know, just decades. Some scientists think thousands of years, depending on which species. But yeah, we don't know. We don't live that long, so it's hard to put one in a jar and be like, all right, we'll see. You'll see in 3,000 years.
Or to put a little tracker on it.
All right, so perhaps the most fascinating part of the tardigrades is their uncanny durability. Tardigrades are not immortal, and they do have a powerful adaptation to allow them to survive for decades in extreme conditions called cryptobiosis.
Okay.
Or bioasis.
What's that?
And I'll tell you. To endure these environmental stresses, tardigrades suspend their metabolism as a process called cryptobionesis.
Oh.
They curl up and enter a death-like state known as a TUN. TUN.
Oh, that's different.
Their metabolism slows to about 0.001% of normal consumption rates, and their water count drops to less than 1% of their original water volume. They survive in this state by replacing their water in their cells with a protective sugar called tetraosol, which preserves their cellular machinery until the water is available again. So as far as we know, it's decades. It's the longest we've seen this work in a tardigrade. But we don't really know the limits of this.
Right, because if they're out in space, because we found them...
Don't.
Sorry.
Don't you ruin.
All right, then continue and then...
Don't ruin the ending of my thing. Tardigrades have different states of TUN for different hardships. Aurora biobenesis helps survive basically extreme heat, while cryptobionesis protects against deep freezes. Tardigrades can survive long periods without food and water in a ton and return to their normal cycle once they're rehydrated. Some of them have been reanimated after laying around for about 45 years.
That's a pretty long time.
And here's the thing, is the ones that didn't reanimate, they have no way of proving they're dead. They just may have not give them their favorable conditions.
That makes sense.
So we have some that a couple biologists, basically put in an envelope. They dehydrated them, put them in an envelope like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And we try to reanimate them, and they didn't reanimate. But the biologists argue about this, whether they're actually dead, or if just they're missing a sugar in the water. Or they're missing, an algae protein.
The conditions haven't been met.
Yeah, we don't know. And there's so many different species. It's so hard to crack the code.
I bet I could do it. Just spit on it.
So my next little fact for you is they perform well under pressure. Under pressure, pushing down on me, pushing down on you. Whoa. Do you want to guess how strong of a pressure? How many times our atmosphere?
It can probably withstand anything except me squeezing it.
Give me an actual number.
I don't know.
So,
how many
times our atmosphere?
How many
so I
AUs?
think humans get crushed. Now, I may be wrong, everybody. Don't kill me. I think we get crushed at 15.
Okay. So
that's why we start having problems when we dive in the free diving in the ocean.
I bet it can take a lot. I bet like 150.
150?
Yeah.
That's a really good guess. 6,000.
150 times 100.
Yes, 6,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
6,000 times Earth's pressure atmosphere at sea level, which is about 6 times higher than any pressure found on Earth, at least on the surface.
Okay, so
including the deep water trenches. To reach this type of pressure, you'd have to go somewhere in the mantle, which they probably live there.
Or again, me squeezing it with these mitts.
Even half as much pressure, 300 MPAs, which is, that's 3,000 atmospheres, would kill most multicellular life and even some single-cell bacteria.
Yeah, jeez. Now, how are these guys so strong then?
It's just, they are. My next little fact for you is they're the first known animal ever to survive in space. Now, there's some arguments about non-animal things like bacterium and some viruses, which are even argued to be alive or not. But yeah, these guys rode on the outside of the 2017 or the 2007 space. Was it the Fauna M3? They were on the outside of the craft the whole time till re-entry. They survived exiting the atmosphere, survived a 12-day stint in space, and they survived re-entering the atmosphere. Both completely fine. And starting to eat the outside metals of the capsule.
What? This was like a NASA thing they launched or what?
Yeah, it was a probe, basically. It was like a little satellite. But they just rode it like a horse.
Right, it didn't matter, yeah. Saddled up.
And then most biologists believe these guys have actually made it to Mars and the moon.
Oh, here we go.
Whether you believe we landed on, that's a whole different show.
Right.
But the rovers and stuff like that, they probably rode on the outside. They did sterilize on the inside. You can kill these guys with certain things.
Like Lysol?
It's not even, it's the, hospitals use them. They're really scary to be around because there's like 85 warnings on these giant robots. They go into rooms to sanitize them after you're there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I worked at the hospital, I seen them all the time. There's like 8 warning signs to stay away from this thing.
It's a robot that just cruises around by itself?
Yeah, it shoots out a level of ultraviolet light.
My gosh.
Burns away life.
Is it like the robot from Rocky 3?
No, if this thing hit you, would just probably melt. I don't know what would happen to you.
Rocky 4.
I'm sure you would get many cancers.
Interesting. Good thing they have that in the hospitals.
Well, it's to clean.
Yeah, to clean.
It does work. I've watched them do the bacteria swabs.
Yeah.
And it's like nothing. I mean, you're never, ever going to get rid of all unicellular and multicellular life.
Right. So why do we keep trying? Come on. We need to build our immune systems.
If you're on hospice and stuff like that,
you
need
it,
it.
I guess. Anyway.
So yeah, these guys also, they're on the International Space Station. We'll talk about their diet here in a minute, but yeah, some of these guys are eating some metal on the International Space Station. There may be problems in future decades. They're radiation resistant.
That's pretty cool.
We can't say proof, but we'll get there.
Okay.
So research shows that most species of tardigrade can survive roughly. You want to guess how many times lethal levels for humans?
12.
12 times lethal levels for humans.
I don't know.
Over 1,000.
That makes more sense.
They often resist the damage of radiation exposure by both being active in their hydrated state and inactive in their tun state, which researchers have noted is a little surprising since they are indirect effects of ionizing radiation expect to be much higher in the presence of water. So basically, that's why ionizing radiation is so dangerous to biological life on Earth, is because it's magnified by water, and us being water mostly.
Right.
It's another very dangerous thing to be around ionizing radiation. These guys don't care in what state they're in.
Doesn't bother them?
No.
Okay.
Up to 1,000 times, but we'll get to that. But being in tun does seem to either confirm more protection or be more comfortable in those conditions.
Okay.
So it seems like they will start going into tun during that if they're extended. They don't know if it's because of protection thing or it's just because it feels better.
To be in that state,
Yeah.
in that when it's exposed.
When it's that horrible out.
Yeah. That's
So tardigrades have not only survived immense amounts of irradiation, they've also gone through a procedure to produce healthy offspring after following this incredible radiation exposure. Researchers believe that this is due to tardigrades' ability to both avoid the accumulation of DNA damage and to effectively repair their own DNA after the damage has been done. Still, at some space experiments have shown even tardigrades have their limits of how much radiation they can take, but we're not too sure yet. They think they've killed some with 8,000 times lethal dosage and stuff like that. But they take a medical scalpel to one of these things and it act like it died, laser scalpel.
Oh, okay.
And it act like it died, and then it just start crawling away again.
Oh, I was playing possum.
Yeah, so they can survive lasers too. They aren't picky about temperatures. If anything, if I've gotten through anything,
Right.
they don't really care.
Doesn't bother them.
Polar tardigrades. So this is our cold species of tardigrades, and keep in mind, we're kind of lumping them all in together. Now, it's very rare for one of these animals to do all of these things.
Wait, are these guys in Antarctica?
Both.
Well, I mean, then how can we call it Antarctica if the water bears?
Well, when they named it, they were still called moss piglets.
Oh, okay.
It's like koala bears.
Fair enough.
So polar tardigrades have survived cooling temperatures as far down as minus, and this is in Celsius. Give me a guess.
Minus
Celsius.
200 degrees.
Dead on. 198.
Oh, really?
Which is 320 degrees Fahrenheit below zero.
It's insane.
Very close to almost absolute zero.
Wait, absolute zero?
Yeah, that's when molecules stop vibrating.
Okay. Maybe what?
It's
Why did I forget about that? I don't know what absolute zero is.
But some research suggests they could withstand temperatures easily as down as minus 272 degrees Celsius. Minus.
That's insane.
Which
Celsius.
is minus 458 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's pretty dang cold.
Or just 1 degree above absolute zero.
So they can pretty much survive anything until
their molecules stop vibrating, and at that point, anything would fall apart.
Right, yeah. The whole time-space fabric would fall apart.
Well, it's just like molecular gravity and stuff stops working at that point.
Right.
But yes. Now let's talk about their more heat-tolerant species. On the other hand, can survive temperatures as high as Fahrenheit.
Below combustion. 1 degree below combustion.
Well, combustion's a range.
Well, yeah, for these guys.
1 degree below combustion.
298.
As far as we know, they are comfortable at 300 degrees Fahrenheit.
What?
But some
on fire.
Ironclad snails do 450.
Oh, okay.
But these guys have been found on the inside rim of some deep sea volcanic vents. So
that's pretty hot.
That number can be up to 1,000 degrees, as far as we know. So there's a lot more research into going into the heat side of it.
How did we find those ones?
Like a deep probe, like a scoop.
Oh, okay.
Like this little, basically a robotic scoop goes on the inside, just like scoops everything off.
And it doesn't melt?
Oh, it would if it, it's like metal takes a little longer to melt.
True.
As long as you go quick. Scoop. Now, this is my second to last fact. you can find them yourself very easy. So if you got kids at home and you get like the little Walmart microscope and stuff like that, they don't have a high power magnification, but this is one of the cool animals that you can find. Not animals, they're their own thing. This is one of the cool things you can find.
Why aren't they animals?
Oh, they are animals. I got confused.
Okay.
Phylum. I got kingdom and phylum mixed up.
Gotcha.
They are the smallest multicellular animals.
We didn't mention that yet.
Yeah, that's one of my. I'm getting there. But yeah, you can find these guys everywhere, and you can take your kids out and show them that these tough little animals. They have been found in hot springs, the Himalayan peaks, under layers that are miles thick of ice, tropical rainforest, mud volcanoes, the bottoms of the ocean, the upper atmosphere. They are abundant in many less exotic places as well. However, such as small creeks, meadows, moss patches, leaf litter, stone walls, roof tiles, and even parking lots are some of their favorites.
I was going to say it.
There's even a species that only eats asphalt.
In certain parking lots?
Yeah. Walmart asphalt, whatever brand they use, they love it. I'm not joking. There was a species of tardigrade found in a Walmart parking lot that just eats their asphalt.
I was going to say that, but
if you have access to any microscope, you can try to find tardigrades near you. I'll tell you the best thing, if you go into the woods and just take a couple pieces of wet moss, that's probably your best way to see them. But you can find them anywhere. They pop up, but they're really tiny, but they're really cool to watch. They're extremely active.
So anyone out there listening, if you got a little microscope, see if you can find a tardigrade. Take a picture of it.
They eat there's species that eat metals.
That's crazy.
There's species that eat, like I said, asphalt and all kinds of crazy stuff. My last little fact for you. They will probably outlive us by miles. Tardigrades date back to at least, as far as conventional evolution goes, 500 million years.
These guys are the true builders of
They have survived
our world.
The last 5 mass extinctions with little to no effect. Combined with what we know about their tolerance of extreme temperatures, pressures, radiation, dehydration, starvation, they seem better equipped to survive any upcoming global disaster than any other species on Earth, including us. Since science has come to the conclusion to its studies and some papers, basically these are Earth's most massive, survivable life forms.
Right.
But a lot of scientists are focusing, saying that these guys probably aren't from Earth.
Uh-oh. Bum, bum, bum.
These guys may be what's called asteroid riders. And they seem like they're hyper-equipped. Basically, they live on asteroids from, planets blowing up and that kind of stuff. They dehydrate themselves and they just ride it out into these rocks, crash back in to a planet with water.
What's that called? Like
panspermia.
Panspermia.
Is that life comes from...
Right.
That's not quite what this is. They're just saying this species in particular.
Yeah.
Because there's other Earth life forms at that time they got here.
Well, yeah. I meant like could they be a panspermic species?
Yeah, they could.
There we go. Is that a real term?
Yes, sure.
And if it's not, it is now.
It is now. So these guys may be planet hoppers, and we should expect to find very similar things in our own solar system as we start venturing out on planets with free-flowing water, like the northern tips and the southern tip of Mars, and Titan, I believe, is the moon that has ice sheets and water underneath it.
I think it's Titan. What are the big 4 moons of...
They don't... Titan's the only one I know.
Titan, Io. There's Io. There's... I can't remember.
But we know that one has fresh water on it, or at least unfrozen or liquid water.
Right.
Because it's got ice on it, but we see vents coming up.
Right.
And what we think's happening is that the planet's gravity is so strong, it's crushing the core like a ball every rotation. So you ever bend a piece of metal back and forth and it gets super hot?
Warm, yeah.
That's what's happening to the core. So there's probably miles of nice, warm, fresh water or saltwater oceans. And then there's that protective layer of ice.
What if it is fresh water?
It doesn't really matter for these guys, but...
Yeah. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, though.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, but they can survive. They think these guys could be supernova riders. As far as we know, they can survive gamma ray burst. You can't kill them in the conventional ways. Like, they can be eaten and stuff like that by some species. They're specialized in digesting them and stuff like that. Like I said, not one species can really do all of these things.
Right.
It's the family as a whole when you look at it. It's like...
Can they survive a quasar?
Sure.
Cool.
So I got a couple frequently asked questions.
Can they survive a black hole?
Yes, they actually are black holes. That's the final evolutionary stage of a tardigrade.
Ah.
Because they just eat everything.
Interesting.
Yeah, that tardigrade itself in the center of a black hole is about 4 inches long.
That's a big boy.
It takes them a long time to get that big.
Yep.
Several planets. But yeah, the biggest frequently asked question, are they immortal? No, they're not. However, they can survive pretty much every extreme condition you can throw at them.
Have we ever dissected one?
Yeah, we have dead tardigrades.
But
Tardigrades
dissected,
can live.
Like, does it have organs?
Yeah. Actually, you can see them under the microscope.
Ew.
And they're very weird.
Is it like those fish you can see through?
Yeah. Because they have organs and stuff like that because they're animals, but they're so small. They're smaller than a lot of bacteria.
Right. They're tiny.
So they're smaller than single-celled organisms.
That's weird.
And that's another thing I really didn't cover in this because we're already way over our normal time. That they are the smallest multicellular organism, complex organism we know about, where they have claws and organs and blood flow and all these weird things that doesn't make sense and nobody can explain that.
Do they poop?
Yeah.
Have we found tardigrade poop?
Yeah, there's videos of them pooping.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's pretty cool.
There's videos of them making more tardigrades.
Oh.
So yes, they are very much animals in what they do. They're just very good at not dying from external factors. But there are things that specialize in eating tardigrades. And
so they have a known predator.
yeah, like I said, depending on the species.
Yeah.
Stomach acids, will hyperdevelop for that animal specifically.
What's the animal that eats tardigrades?
More multicellular or microscopic organisms.
Like amoebas and stuff?
That's single cells, but
Oh, they are?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that was dumb.
I have been the great and peaceful mystery.
And I've been Jay.
What's the words of wisdom for this week, Jay?
Enjoy.
Be like a tardigrade?
Be like a tardigrade.
No matter what life throws at you,
Just eat it.
just know you'll survive.
Right. You're going to get through.
That's why they're so happy. When you watch little videos of them,
they're always
look
smiling.
Like, doo-doo, doo-doo.
Because they're you know what? They're living in the moment.
They're like, oh, is that a meteor impact?
That's
Don't care. I'm on my way to the boss.
Right. Yeah. There's a buffet over there.
I better get some water because there's not going to be water for the next 400,000 years.
Precisely.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.